Today we are going to see interfacing of logic families. So this is coming under the fifth unit. Now, before going to that, we are going for current and voltage parameters. So VIH minimum is nothing but high level input voltage minimum. VIL maximum is nothing but low level. This L represents low level uh, input voltage maximum. Then VOH is nothing but high level output voltage minimum. VOL is nothing but low level output voltage maximum. IH is nothing but high level input current. IL is nothing but low level input current. IOH is nothing but high level output current. IOL is nothing but low level output current. Now this is the current and voltage rating of TTL and CMOS. First one is for TTL and second one is for CMOS. Okay. So for CMOS, VOH minimum is 2.4 volt. VIH minimum is 2 volt. Similarly, VIL maximum is 0.8 volt. VOL maximum is 0.4 volt. Similarly, for CMOS, this is for TTL and this is for CMOS. CMOS VOH is nothing but 4.95 volt. VIH minimum is 3.33 volt. VIL maximum is 1.67 volt and VOL maximum is 0.05 volt. Now here we are going to study the interfacing of logic families. So first of all, what is interfacing? Interface is nothing but connecting the output of one circuit or system to the input of another circuit or system. It is called interfacing. Here connecting the output of one logic family to the input of another logic family is nothing called interfacing of logic families. So when in interfacing logic families, we have to consider many things. The output voltage level of one family must be high and low enough to meet the input requirement of receiving family. Okay. So the output voltage of one family must be high and low enough to meet the input requirement of the receiving family. Also, the output current capability of the driving gate must be high enough for the input draw of the receiving gate or gates. Okay, if we are connecting more than one gates, we are coming to gates. So the main thing is while you are connecting one family to the other family, when you are connecting the output of one family to the input of another family, the output voltage level and the output current level, it must satisfy. Okay. So now first of all, we are going to see TTL driving CMOS. TTL is driving CMOS. So when TTL is driving CMOS, the input current requirement there is no problem. The output current of TTL is nothing but 20 microampere, and the input current of your CMOS is 1 microampere. So this TTL can drive the CMOS. So there is no problem in input current. So you are driving TTL is driving the CMOS, or in other words, you are connecting CMOS to the output of TTL. So the output current of TTL can drive CMOS. Now CMOS input voltage. So the TTL output voltage of TTL is 2.4 volt. This 74LS is a family of TTL. Okay. This output voltage of TTL is 2.4 volt and the input voltage is input voltage of um CMOS is 3.5 volt. So there is a problem in driving TTL driving the CMOS. the output voltage of TTL is less than the input voltage of uh, CMOS. Okay, output voltage of TTL is less than that of CMOS. In TTL you are having 2.4 volt, and in CMOS you are having 3.5 volt. Okay, now so some arrangement has to be made in order to connect TTL with CMOS. So what we are doing is we are using pull-up resistor. So the pull-up resistor will raise the voltage to approximately 5 volt. So if you are connecting a pull-up resistor to the output of TTL, that pull-up resistor will make the output to 5 volt, so that this 5 is greater than 3.5 volt. So that you can make the TTL to drive the CMOS. So another one. Next is TTL driving high voltage CMOS. So when high voltage CMOS is nothing but the VDD will be greater than 5 volt. Usually we will be using 15 volt. So high voltage CMOS is nothing but the CMOS which is using its VDD voltage as 15 volt. So in such cases we can use open collector IC, collector TTL. With the pull up you can use, or you have to use voltage level translator IC. Okay. So in order to drive high voltage CMOS by TTL, so we have to use either open collector IC or open collector TTL with pull-up resistors, or we have to use voltage translator IC, that is 40104. It is nothing but a voltage translator IC. This voltage translator IC will shift the voltage 5 volt output of TTL to 15 volt, so that we can drive the high voltage CMOS. Okay. Now, interfacing TTL to CMOS. This is the first case. First case is we have seen that the output voltage of TTL is less than the input voltage of CMOS. So we have to use a pull-up resistor. This pull-up resistor will make the output voltage from to 5 volt, so it can drive the CMOS. Okay. So next case is we are coming for CMOS driving TTL. So initially we have studied TTL driving CMOS. Now we are coming to CMOS driving TTL. So CMOS driving TTL in the high state. High state means the output voltage is 1. The CMOS output voltage is 4.95 volt. This 4000B is a series of CMOS, a particular model IC. Okay, so its output voltage is 4.95 volt, and it is greater than TTL input voltage. That is nothing but 2 volt. Okay, so it is greater than 2 volt. So there is no problem in high state. Now current. We are checking. Initially, we have checked the voltage. Then we are checking the current. The CMOS output current is 0.4 milliamps, and the TTL input current is only 20 microamps. So this 0.4 milliamps can drive this TTL. So there is no problem in the high state. So in driving in high state, the CMOS can drive the TTL. So there is no problem in either the voltage or in current. Now, next one, CMOS driving TTL in low state. Okay, so CMOS driving TTL in low state. So in low state, voltage is not a problem, but current is we have to consider current. So we have to forget about the voltage. Why? Because in low state, actually it will sink current and it will not source current. So in low state the CMOS will only sink current and it will not source current. Okay, so the no need to forget no need to consider this voltage. So here the voltage is output voltage is nothing but 0.05 volt, and here it is 0.8 volt. So even the CMOS output voltage is less than TTL input voltage. no problem. Why? Because we have to consider only the current. Okay, so no problem about the voltage. Now we are coming to the current. In current, both the CMOS as well as the TTL is having same current, that is 0.4 milliamps. Here also TTL is also having 0.4 milliamps. So for driving only one gate, this is there is no problem. But if it is driving more than one TTL, if a particular CMOS has to drive more than one TTL, then we have to go for some level translators or something. Okay, for driving only one gate, there is no problem. A CMOS can directly drive a TTL in the low state as well as in the high state. Okay. Now in high voltage CMOS driving high voltage CMOS driving TTL. So already I have told you that what is meant by high voltage CMOS. High voltage CMOS is nothing but the CMOS which is using the VDD voltage as 15 volt. So in such cases we have to go for voltage level translators. Okay. Now this is the two conditions for interfacing CMOS to TTL. The first case there is no problem. So the first case is the output is high. In this output high there is no problem. You can directly drive a CMOS. You can drive a TTL by a CMOS, or a CMOS can drive a TTL when its output voltage is 1. Now when you come to 0, output is 0, the CMOS can't sync the current, TTL current. Okay, the CMOS can't sync the TTL current. Here you are having 1.6 milliamps. This 1.6 milliamps, the CMOS has to sync. But actually, IOL max of this CMOS is nothing but 0.51 milliamps. Okay, here it is only 0.51 milliamps, but here you are having 1.6 milliamps. So what we are doing is, so we are going for a level translator. In such cases, we are going for a level translator. This level translator will change the will meet the requirement for driving this TTL. Okay, so it will shift this max IOL max to 4 milliamps. There actually you are having only 1.6 milliamps now. So here you are having only 0.51 milliamps. Okay. Now it is changing it to 4 milliamps. When you are adding a level translator, 4050B CMOS buffer, it is nothing but a level translator or buffer, or this it will change the output syncing capability to 4 milliamps. Okay. So you can interface CMOS to TTL when its output is 0 by using a CMOS buffer, 4050B buffer. If you use a 4050B buffer, you can interface CMOS to TTL. Okay.